Welcome to the campus of Concordia University, Chicago in River Forest for today's Northern Athletics Collegiate Conference baseball matchup between your Concordia University Chicago Cougars and the visiting Raiders of the Milwaukee School of Engineering. Peter Borkowski here on the Cougar Sports Network, ready to bring you today's conference matchup between these two rivals. Cougars, let's start with a little preview for both teams. CUC opened up their conference play yesterday, welcoming St. Norbert College to River Forest. It was technically a home game for the Green Knights, however. That game was forced to be moved here to River Forest due to field conditions up in Green Bay. Cougars took care of business, though, despite all the confusion. Pulled away with the two-game sweep over the Green Knights. It was an offensive showcase from the Cougars. They won that first game 13-6, and that second game 15-5. Michael Kasich, the story of the day, 2 grand slams in the doubleheader. So Cougars heavy-hitting first baseman looks to continue that streak today against the Raiders team. A team that the Cougars have had a ton of success against historically, 31-7 all-time record between these two teams in favor of CUC, but MSOE has controlled the series between the two as of recently. They've won the past 3 games, including last year's last matchup between these two teams on May 12th, 2021. It was a 10-1 MSOE win. And in fact, that game, if we look at the schedule, that game was the first game of the NAC Conference Tournament last year. So the Cougars lost that opening round, went on to lose the elimination game against Edgewood College to get knocked out of the conference tournament. So Cougars looking to get a little bit of revenge against an MSOE team who helped knock them out of last year's NAC tournament. And it starts here right now with the first matchup today on the mound for the Cougars at number 51, Wyatt McLaughlin, and he'll be taking on the leadoff hitter to start things off with Chris Barnes, the first baseman for MSOE, and the first pitch just misses for a ball. First pitch at 12:05, 46 degrees out here in River Forest. So a 2-0 count now to start on Barnes. Barnes on the season as that one also misses for a ball, batting .406 in 9 games played. This is MSOE's 11th game of the season. On base percentage of .548 as McLaughlin throws in the first strike of the at-bat. So that on base percentage, big reason Barnes is leading off here against CUC. And the next pitch of the at-bat in there for strike 2. So McLaughlin started off 3-0 on Barnes, and now he's worked into a full count as he gets set for the 3-2. Swung on that one, driven deep into right center, but getting over there for the catch is Eli Hickman. So good work by the Cougars starter to turn a 3-0 count into the first out of the game. As Barnes flies out to center. And now that'll bring up the second batter for the Raiders, Blake Hall, the left fielder for MSOE. Hall, .333 average in 9 games appeared this year. As McLaughlin now works himself into a 2-0 hole. 33 at-bats, 11 hits for the left fielder for the visiting Raiders. That one high and away. Another 3-0 count now for Number 51 in the Cougars' home pinstripes. Breaking them out today as this pitch in there for strike one. Cougars matching the pinstripes with maroon socks, and meanwhile MSOE wearing their pinstripe pants as this one gets past a diving Jaime Sandoval. So MSOE gets their first hit of the day, a Blake Hall single. And that'll put one runner on now for number 28, Micah Overlay.
The third baseman, number 28, Micah Overlay.
Overlay, 425 batting average on the year. He's played in all 10 games, just one of 4 Raiders to do that, one of 3 to start in all 10 games as well. A 600 slugging percentage as he takes a big hack at that one for strike one. The 0-1 in there for strike two as McLaughlin now gets himself into a great position with the 0-2 count. He gets set for it. He throws the pick off to first, though, and diving back in is Hall safely. On the season, McLaughlin rocking a 6.05 ERA, 1 and 2 in 4 appearances. 19 and a third innings pitched as this one takes a ride into center field, barely having to move his feet as Eli Hickman, who reels it in for out number 2. And now with 2 outs, 1 runner on. That'll bring up the DH, Colin Truitt.
Batting fourth, designated hitter number 15, Colin Truitt.
Truitt, 267 batting average in 9 games appeared, 9 of starts as well. 8 for 30 on the season, and McLaughlin making sure Hall stays right where he is at first base. That pitch low and inside for ball number 1. McLaughlin's almost thrown a strikeout per inning so far this year. 19 and a third innings pitched, 19 strikeouts fired coming into today. And this one gonna make Maynard work for it. Instead, it goes foul. On some distance behind it, but did not stay within the foul pole, so we'll get set to do the 1-1 now. Another pickoff attempt at first, and once again, Hall in there safely. That one just misses. Ball 2 now on Colin Truitt. And 2-1. This will be a hit into right field. Maynard's going to have to run all the way over. And now rounding third is Hall. He's going to try to make it home. There's going to be a play at the plate. A little late, though. Hall is in safely, and a triple for Colin Truitt gives MSOE the early 1-0 lead.
Batting fifth, the right fielder, number 4, Kyle
So Colin Truitt
Lopez.
comes up, knocks a triple into right field. Brings home Blake Hall. That throw to the plate just a little behind Hall as this one's fouled back by Kyle Lopez. Now all of a sudden MSOE up 1-0 on the Cougars with Lopez in the batter's box now. 256 average. One of those Raiders I mentioned earlier who has played and started in all 10 games as this one is popped up. It's going to stay in the infield. Michael Kasich comes over and snags it for the final out of the inning.
In the inning, 1 run on.
But the damage has been done. MSOE comes out, scores 1 on the Colin Truitt triple. They're going to take the 1-0 lead into the bottom of the first. Due up for the Cougars is Gary Maynard, Tyler Dorsch, and Tyler Crater. So come back in just a minute on the Cougar Sports Network as the Cougars bat for the first time today.
Therefore, we do ask everyone to be alert at all times while play is going on. And if you have any small children or especially, please keep their eyes as well. Be safe and try to maintain.
Coming up to the plate to lead things off for the Cougars is Gary Maynard. As we get set to start the bottom of the first inning, Cougars find themselves in a 1-0 hole to the MSOE Raiders. And on the mound for the Raiders is the right-handed senior Tyler Groner as his first pitch inside for ball 1. Groner's last pitching appearance came on March 24th against Carthage as he misses again for ball 2. 4 innings pitched, no earned runs, 6 strikeouts as well. As this one gets past a diving Kalatowski, so Gary Maynard, the leadoff hitter for the Cougars, didn't even get a chance to talk about him yet, gets on base for Tyler Dorsch now. So Groner coming off a good appearance against Carthage, but he's got his work cut out for him against this Cougars lineup, who put up a combined 28 runs yesterday against St. Norbert. And Tyler Dorsch, the sophomore, has been having himself quite the season. He's started in every game the Cougars have played this year. A .460 batting average, .635 slugging. Still waiting for that first home run. .39 slugging percentage. He's got himself a home run on the year as well as 10 doubles. And now he's got 2 base runners to work with as well as no outs as he shows bunt, pulls away. Now the 2-0. It's going to be a dribbler to third, but home plate umpire Kevin Worth is going to call foul ball. So we're going to bring it back now. Count should be 2-1. After the foul, Groner gets set. The 2-1, Crater gets past the catcher. The runners are going to advance. So Maynard's on third. Dorsch is on second now. A wild pitch accredited to Groner, advances Dorsch, and Maynard takes the double play out of option as well. It's a triple play out of option if you want to think about it that way. As Crater fouls this one back. 3-2 count now on the sophomore. 2 runners in scoring positions, no outs. After the Cougars fall in the 1-0 hole early, find themselves in a pretty good position to make up that deficit as a 3-1 fouled again by Crater. So he'll stay alive for another pitch. Crater has struck out 14 times so far this season in his 61 batting appearances. And now this to the short. Dorsch is going to safely make his way back to second. Crater runs it out at first and drives Maynard in. Tyler Crater infield single brings Gary Maynard across home. Tyler Dorsch stays at second. Cougars got him at first and second now. Still no outs for who's probably the hottest hitter on this team, and Michael Kasich. Again, 2 grand slams in yesterday's doubleheader against St. Norbert. Now he's got 2 runners on to do some further damage in this inning as he looks at ball 1. Big swing there by Crater. Just misses, though, for strike number 1. Again, still no outs for the Cougars. Caleb Anderson, the DH, on deck. As Kasich, nice grab there by Kalatowski. And they're just going to throw it to the third baseman to get the force out of Dorsch. So Kasich hits into the fielder's choice. They get Dorsch at third. Crater moves over to second, and then Kasich reaches first. So with 1 out now, runners at first and second again. It's Caleb Anderson. This one's going to get fouled past the MSOE dugout on the left field line. Anderson, a 400 hitter on the year, 10 starts and 13 games played, as the 0-1 misses for ball 1. Groner, the 1-1 misses outside. So 2-1 now on Anderson. Holding at second is Crater, excuse me. Kasich over at first. That one too low. So ball 3 now on Anderson. On the year, Anderson has managed to draw 10 walks. One of 4 Cougars in double digits in that category. So he looks at strike 2. Full count now on Anderson. And the 3-2 gets inside. It's away from Alderden. Doesn't matter as it's ball 4. So that'll load the bases now for Jaime Sandoval, the shortstop for CUC. Sandoval hitting .315 this year. Not a ton of power behind his bat, but at this point, even a single will likely drive in too. Meanwhile, MSOE has a meeting on the mound with Groner, trying to figure out how to get out of this jam. Bases loaded, only 1 out. Now, a well-hit ball at a short or even second could probably will likely end the inning with the double play. So bases loaded, 1 out. Sandoval checks his swing for ball 1. A walk wouldn't be so bad either. That would drive in a run. In the year, Sandoval has drawn 12 of them. Tied for second on the team. Only Tyler Dorsch has drawn more walks than Sandoval, as well as Eli Hickman, who has 12 as well. So after that swing, Sandoval now sits 1-1. Takes a big hack at that one. 1-2 count now. Groner hasn't been in the driver's seat for a lot of these at-bats. A lot more balls thrown than strikes. The hitters count. Says here's the 1-2. Swung on and missed. Strike 3 swinging for Sandoval. And now it'll be 2 outs. Bases still loaded for Joe Gonzalez. The freshman playing at second today. Still waiting for his first collegiate hit. 0-4 in the 4 games he's appeared this year. As that one is thrown in for a strike. Might see Groner be a little bit more aggressive against the freshman who's only appeared in 4 contests this year. This one's fouled back. 0-2 count now. Carter Gledhill on deck. Eli Hickman in the hole. And then the lineup would turn back over to Gary Maynard as the 0-2 up the middle. It's going to be a tough play at first, just in time. Some nice fielding there from John Kalatowski. That was a slow dribbler, but he's able to beat Gonzalez to first. And that'll send us to the second inning now. We're tied up here at the Thunderdome, 1-1. Cougars and Raiders will be back in just a minute on the Cougar Sports Network.
Batting 6th and leading off the top of the second for the Raiders.
Leading off the top of the second for MSOE, AJ Lay, the second baseman. As he gets set to take on McLaughlin. Back on the mound. As the first pitch of the inning, Lay showed bunt before he pulled it back for ball 1. Lay, 6 games played, 2 starts coming into today, 545 hitters. This is a high pop-up. Kasich gets under it, able to reel it in successfully for out number 1. So with the leadoff batter retired, that'll bring up Nolan Wojciechowski.
Batting 7th, center fielder number 3, Nolan Wojciechowski.
Center fielder for MSOE, 10 games played, 8 starts, 6 for 28 for a 2.14 average. Is the first pitch of the at-bat a little high for ball 1. The 1-0 turns into 1-1 after that swing and a miss. McLaughlin fires the 1-1, which is fouled off. He faced 5 batters in that first inning, allowed 2 hits, including the RBI triple to Colin Truitt that drove in Blake Hall, and then induced 3 flyouts, 2 to center, and then 1 to Michael Kasich. This is low and away for ball 2 now. On deck is Kobe Alderdine, the catcher. But the 2-2 misses. 3-2 now on Wojciechowski. And he'll stay alive for another pitch as he fouls this one backwards. Full count on the MSOE center fielder, and he'll stay alive again as he fouls that one off. So count remains full. McLaughlin gets his signals from his battery mate, Carter Gledhill. The 3-2 in there for strike 3. McLaughlin strikes Wojciechowski out looking, and now the Cougars have 2 outs after 2 batters, and that'll bring up Kobe Alderdine. Alderdine, the man behind the plate today for MSOE. Senior out of Fox Lake, Wisconsin, takes strike 1. And a swing at strike 2. McLaughlin cruising along much more comfortably after that first inning. Couple at bats where he threw 3 balls. This inning he got layout, and after a 1-0 count, Wojciechowski took him to a full count, including a couple foul offs, but McLaughlin struck him out lucky, and now Alderdine sits at 0-2. So McLaughlin looking to end the inning right here. Throws one inside for ball 1. Now the 1-2 fouled straight back. Alderdine doing a good job staying alive here against the McLaughlin, who's firing a lot more strikes so far this inning. And the 1-2 just misses. McLaughlin was already making his way back up to the dugout. Off-speed pitch. Kevin Worth doesn't give it to the junior for Concordia, and they appeal down the line. Mike Slawinski says ball, so now we're at a full count here. McLaughlin 3-2 in there for strike 3. McLaughlin's fired up as he heads back to the dugout, as he should be. 2 straight strikeouts looking, and the Cougars, they send the Raiders down 1-2-3 here in the top of the second. We're going to head to the bottom of the inning now. Cougars, Raiders tied up 1 apiece here in River Forest.
8th. And leading off the bottom of the second for the Cougars.
Bottom of the second about to kick off here in River Forest. Raiders, Cougars tied up at 1-1. And now leading things off for Concordia will be Carter Gledhill, the catcher today for Cougars, as he takes the first pitch from Groner for strike number 1. Gledhill on the season, 11 games played, 9 starts. As this one into right field, chasing it down and diving for it is Labez. It hits the ground though, so Gledhill is going to make his way into center. Shows off a little Selly, and a leadoff double for Carter Gledhill gets the Cougars off right here in the second inning. Labez made a heck of an effort chasing that one down. Just misses reeling it in though. And now it'll be Eli Hickman batting 197 on the year. He showed bunt, pulled it back for the ball. Takes a swing at that one for strike number 1. Groner really got his work in last inning, facing every batter in the Cougars lineup besides Gledhill and Hickman, the 8 and 9 hitters. This one is outside for ball 2. Groner issued a walk to Caleb Anderson, did strike out Jaime Sandoval though. Cougars had bases loaded with only 1 out. As now Hickman sends this one into right center. Running back and making the grab is Labez. Gledhill will have to make his way back to second. Great track down there by Labez. And now with 1 out, it'll be Gary Maynard. Runner at second with only 1 out. Maynard singled the lead off the Cougars lineup last inning and would eventually score a run on Tyler Crater's single as Maynard fouls the first pitch back. Also advanced to third on a wild pitch from Groner. Another foul off from Maynard, and he's sitting at 0-2 now. Gledhill on second has crossed home 8 times this year. Maynard would love to make that 9 as this one looks like it's going to be in the gap into left center, and it is down. It hits the fence. Gledhill, he's going to round third. Maynard safely into second. Gledhill safely across home. Cougars take the lead 2-1. A double all the way to the fence and left center, left field more like, and that drives Carter Gledhill home. Gary Maynard, you'll get RBI number 11 on the year. And that'll bring up Tyler Dorsch, who was a hit by pitch in his first appearance last inning. Dorsch, 11 RBIs on the year, and he's got a chance to add to that total now with Maynard on second. Only 1 out on the inning after Eli Hickman flew out to Labez. Dorsch finds himself in an 0-2 hole now. Dorsch won himself NAC Position Player of the Week earlier in the season after an incredible opening weekend for the Cougars, but he's going to go down swinging here as he really chased that last pitch, sent him spinning. So now 2 outs, runner still in scoring position for Tyler Crater, who's already got himself an RBI today after his single in the first that drove Gary Maynard home. And then he's going to look to repeat that. Maynard in scoring position. Depending on where it hits it, a single might drive him home. That one is inside for ball 1. One oh count now on the sophomore third baseman as he swings at that one. 1-1 count now. This one chopped foul right into the MSOE dugout. Count now 1-2. Groner's going to look for his third strikeout of the game. He struck out Sandoval in the first, and then we just saw him strike out Tyler Dorsch. As instead, Crater's going to stay alive, fouling this one back. Michael Kasich on deck, hit into a fielder's choice in the first inning. And instead, he'll get another strikeout. Crater goes down swinging. So 2 straight strikeouts from Groner ends the second. And with the Cougars, they take the lead. 2 hits, one from Gledhill, one from Maynard. Gledhill crossing home on the Maynard RBI double. And we're going to head to the third inning now. Cougars up on the Raiders 2-1. You're watching the Cougars Sports Network.
The shortstop, number 18, John Kalatowski.
John Kalatowski will lead things off here in the third inning. Raiders went down in order last inning. McLaughlin got the last 2 batters, Wojciechowski and Alderton, to go down looking. He's now got a 1-1 count on the MSOE shortstop. Kalatowski batting 154 on the year. Gets a piece of that one for... Looked like a foul ball. It went fair, though, says home plate umpire Kevin Worth. Gledhill picks it up and tags out Kalatowski. Now the third base coach for MSOE going to have some words with Worth, who's going to go over and talk to Slowinski. The call stands. Kalatowski is out. That one kind of tied him up right above his hands. Went into fair territory where Gledhill scooped it up and then walked back and tagged out Kalatowski, who hadn't even moved. Worth and Slawinski chatting with head coach of the Cougars, Colin Connor. So it turns into a foul ball. Call reverse. Kaltowski now sits at 1-2. That pitch misses. 2-2 count. Now on Kaltowski, leadoff hitter Chris Barnes on deck. The 2-2 away for ball 3, full count now. Kaltowski, one of the few Raiders to appear and start in every game this year as he fouls that one away. Survives for another pitch. Count still full at 3-2, excuse me. And he swings at that one, strikes out. Wyatt McLaughlin, 3 straight strikeouts now. 2 looking, and now Kaltowski goes down swinging. And with 1 out, that'll bring up Chris Barnes, a first baseman. Flew out to center in his first at-bat of the day, back in inning number 1. See what he can do here in his second appearance against McLaughlin as he looks at strike 1. This one low and inside. Ball 1 called. 1-1 count now on Barnes. And this one somehow avoids hitting Barnes. That was right at his feet, and he kind of danced over it. So Cougars avoid putting a runner on. Count now at 2-1. And this one right over McLaughlin's head into center field. Single for Chris Barnes. Man on first with 1 out now for Blake Hall, who hit a single in his first appearance back in the first inning. Eventually came across home off the Colin Truitt triple.
Blake Hall.
And McLaughlin has been cautious of base runners today. We've seen a lot of pickoff attempts to first. None have come to fruition yet. That one misses, so ball 2 now on Hall. Still no strikes. As there's the first strike of the at-bat. Hall had a 3-1 count before his single last at-bat. He's now looking at 2-1. Pick-off attempt by McLaughlin. Barnes scampers back to first safely. And this one hit in the gap between third and short. And the second single of the day from Blake Hall advances Barnes to second. Now with a runner in scoring position, it's Micah Overly. He flew out to center in his first at-bat. First time today Raiders have had a runner in scoring position. Hall scored all the way from first on Truitt's triple in the first inning. So now we'll get to see how McLaughlin handles having that runner on second. That first pitch misses for ball 1. Swing and a miss there from Overly. Count evened out at 1-1 now. McLaughlin was dealing until Chris Barnes came up to bat. 5 straight outs, including 3 straight strikeouts, as now he's a pitch away from striking Overly out. But after those 3 straight strikeouts, back-to-back singles from Barnes and then Hall, presenting a bit of a challenge to McLaughlin and the Cougars defense. Oh, he's got Overly on the ropes. 1-2, just high. Count evens out at 2-2. McLaughlin gets the signs from Gledhill, who now gets set. The pitch. Going back for it is Hickman, reels it in, tagging up and advancing is Barnes. So Overly flies out to center the second time he's done that today. Barnes makes his way to third. Now with 2 outs, runners in the corners, it'll be Colin Truitt, who with the RBI triple in the first inning to give MSOE a short-lived lead. Cougars were then tied up in the bottom of the inning before taking the lead in the bottom of the second. Now after the pickoff attempt, McLaughlin gets set for the pitch, so he throws it to first again. Making sure Hall stays right where he is. Would love to be able to face Truitt, the designated hitter, with no runners on, if he can somehow get Hall off. Still waiting for the first pitch of the at-bat. There it is, and it clips the strike zone for strike number 1. And another throw to first. Lachlan seems convinced he can catch Hall sleeping, as he hasn't yet. And here's the 0-1. Misses for ball 1. The 1-1. 2-1 after that miss. Another pickoff attempt to first. And here's the 2-1. Swing and a miss from Truitt. McLaughlin one strike away from ending the inning. He's got to be careful, though, with Barnes at third. The pitch high. Gledhill thought about throwing it to second. Instead, he's going to pocket it, and Hall's going to make his way there successfully. Stolen base for Blake Hall. Takes the force out at second away. And a 3-2 count now on Truitt. The pitch. Roped into right field, foul. Truitt almost drove in 2 runs at that hard hit ball, except it curves foul. So we'll gets set for the 3-2 once again. Runners second and third. McLaughlin the pitch, and it hits Truitt. McLaughlin shows a little bit of disappointment with the call, but even if it hadn't hit Truitt, that was well outside the strike zone, so he's going to get on base anyways. So bases loaded, 2 outs now for Kyle Labez. Flew out to Michael Kasich in the first inning. That first pitch is inside for ball 1. The 1-0 from McLaughlin finds its way into the strike zone. 1-1 now. Labez, 8 RBIs on the year. He's got a good chance to tack on a couple more here. As the 1-1 gets away from Gledhill, he's able to get up and scoop it up quickly, kept it in front of him, so runners stay where they are. Bez looking at the 2-1 now. The pitch. Smacked into right field. Going back for it is Maynard. And it's going to be a grand slam for the Raiders. Just getting over the fence was that one from Labez. His first home run of the year, and it's a big one. As the Raiders now have themselves a 5-2 lead here in River Forest, as Coach Connor, as well as the rest of the infield, come out to chat with McLaughlin. So, one swing by Labez, and now a 3-run lead for the Raiders. Barnes, Hall, and Truitt all cross home, as well as the home run hitter Labez. And now that'll bring up A.J. Lay. Flew out to center in his first at-bat of the game last inning. As the Cougars defenders disperse, head back to their spots. And McLaughlin's been 1 out away from ending the inning for a while now. Struck out Kalatowski to start things off. Barnes hit a single, Hall hit a single, and he got overlaid a fly out to center field. Wasn't able to finish off Truitt, who he hit with the pitch, or Labez, who hit the grand slam. And now down by 3. He's got to take on A.J. Lay as he throws the first pitch in there for a strike. 0-1 now on number 13 in black, as it turns into a 1-1. Lay the second baseman for the Raiders. Takes a swing of that one, miss for strike 2. Now the 1-2 upstairs for ball 2. Gets just a piece of this one. Alderden on deck for the Raiders. Chance he doesn't see the plate, though. If McLaughlin can finish off lay here, 2-2 count. The pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 3. McLaughlin ends the inning the way he started it with a strikeout, but in between those, the Raiders get the damage done. A grand slam by Kyle Labez. And we're going to head to the bottom of the third now. Raiders up on the Cougars 5-2. We'll be back in just a minute on the Cougar Sports Network. Michael Kasich up to bat now for CUC, trailing the Raiders by 3 after the Labez home run. The Labez grand slam, I should say. So now brings a batter who's quite familiar with the grand slam himself in Michael Kasich, who had 2 yesterday. Hit into a fielder's choice to start the inning off as he now faces the 2-0 count, against Groner. And this one roped into right field, makes its way down. Kasich thought about taking second. Instead, he's going to put the brakes on, backpedal into first. Leadoff single for Michael Kasich. So good start to the Cougars' comeback attempt here. Now it's Caleb Anderson in the batter's box. Walked back in the first inning. He looks at another ball there. Behind Anderson is Jaime Sandoval, guaranteed to bat. Then in the hole is Joe Gonzalez. And a bloop over a jumping lay. Advances the Kasich to second. So a single for Anderson. Now with runners on first and second with only no outs, it is Jaime Sandoval struck out swinging in his first inning.
Jaime Sandoval.
A 3-1 count. Sandoval showed bunt, so that one fouls back. One strike now on the CUC shortstop. 1-for-1 on the day. Now there's a successful bunt. Barnes comes in, grabs it, and throws it to Lay covering first, but gets the job done, advances the runners. So sack bunt by Sandoval moves the runners over a base, and now it'll be Joe Gonzalez. Freshman second baseman grounded out to short to end the first inning. He takes a swing at that first pitch for strike one. On deck is Gledhill, who had a single to lead off the second inning. And another swing and a miss there from the freshman. Still looking for his first career hit. It's only game number 5 in his career. You got a chance to bring a couple runs across on the board here. Here's the next pitch. Fouled up. It's going to make its way out of play. Hits the Cougars' dugout. So partly cloudy day to start off here in River Forest, and now it's clear to mostly blue skies. Temperatures should continue to rise throughout the day. We were mid-40s at the start of game time, 1 and 2 now. Temperature right below 50. It currently stands. Meanwhile, on the field, 1-2 count on Gonzalez. Makes contact with this one, and it gets past Kalatowski. Kasich comes home. Gonzalez, he's going to take off for second now, and he'll be thrown out. The relay throw, and it got away from the Raiders, so Gonzalez thought he'd try to swipe second. Alderden picks it up, fires it to second, gets the out. So RBI single for Joe Gonzalez. Thrown out on second then. Meanwhile, coming across home is Kasich. Advancing to third is Caleb Anderson. And going down on the first pitch is Gledhill, who grounds out to second. But the Cougars get one back off the Joe Gonzalez RBI single. And now the Cougars pull within 2 of the Raiders. MSOE up 5-3 here in River Forest as we head to the 4th inning on the Cougar Sports Network.
Number 7 leads off the top of the 4th for the Raiders. Center fielder, number 3.
Number 7 batter for the Raiders. Start things off here in the 4th inning. Nolan Wojciechowski, him and his Raiders on top of the Cougars, 5-3 right now. Wojciechowski strikeout looking his first at-bat in the 2nd inning. This one a loud foul. Evens the count out at 1-1. Lachlan. The pitch outside for ball 2. Wojciechowski gets a couple cheers from his dugout as he moves out of the way at strike 2. Now this one hit into center. Hickman backs up a little bit before making the grab. So leadoff hitter out here for MSOE. They've yet to have a leadoff hitter reach in this game. Barnes threw out the center in the first inning. A.J. Lath threw out the center in the second inning. Kalatowski struck out swinging in the third, and then Wojciechowski just flew out to center. So with one out now, it's Kobe Alderden. He struck out looking to end the second inning in his first appearance. He takes a big hack at that one for strike 2. Fouls that one off. He'll stay alive. Alderden last appeared at Carroll on March 22nd as Z02 misses for ball 1 in that Carroll game. He went 1 for 2. Drew a walk and a stolen base, scored a run. As now he gets nailed with the pitch there. Second hitter McLaughlin has hit today after he hit one in the top of the third.
Shortstop number 18, John Kalatowski.
So now with runners on first, with one out, that'll bring up the 9-hitter Kalatowski with the leadoff man Barnes on deck. First pitch of the at-bat, Kalatowski showed bunt before pulling back for the ball. McLaughlin checks the runner at first. Said it earlier, but McLaughlin's been extremely cautious of the runners at first base. Now, bunt goes foul. Looks like some dust got into catcher Gledhill's eyes as he takes the mask off to wipe his face down with his shirt. Now with the 1-1 count to Kalatowski. Swing and a miss. Throw to second is in time. Carter Gledhill bouncing it into Jaime Sandoval. They catch the stealing Alderden. And now with 2 strikes on Kalatowski, Cougars also have 2 outs. Wasn't the prettiest of throws by Gledhill. It took 1 bounce in the dirt, but ended up right into Sandoval's glove as this one hit into right field. Playing it off the bounce is Maynard. And now trying to get 2 is Kalatowski, and he won't! Great throw, great relay there between Gonzalez and Sandoval. Maynard had control of the ball right as Kalatowski was reaching first, really, and kind of surprising to see him take off for second. It ends up in the Cougars' favor.
No run, 1 hit, and nobody left on base.
So Kalatowski gets a hit, gets caught trying to turn it into 2, and we're going to head to the bottom of the 4th now. Raiders still on top of the Cougars, 5-3.
What's up? Fresh is out of time, baby.
Start off the bottom of the 4th inning. It's Eli Hickman for the Cougars. Top of the 4th saw some pretty stellar defense from the Cougars. Carter Gledhill throwing out a runner at second before a relay throw catches Kalatowski trying to turn a single into a double. So now with the clean slate here in the bottom of the 4th, Eli Hickman takes ball 1 to start things off. That one turns into ball 2 after it bounces away from Alderden. Hickman flew out to right field in his first at-bat. As now he'll turn this into a hit. Getting behind it is Labez. Hickman's going to stop at first. Lead off single for Eli Hickman. And the CUC leadoff hitter has gotten a hit successfully every inning so far. And puts a good spot for the 2-for-2 Gary Maynard. A single in the first, a double in the second. That's double in the second was an RBI as it drove Carter Gledhill in. And then he scored a run in the first inning off the RBI single from Tyler Crater. Hickman's going to try and steal second, and he gets in safely. Throw from Alderden was a little off anyways, and Hickman slides in hand first. Now puts himself into scoring position for Maynard. Maynard hits that one to Kalatowski, bobbles it but gathers it and throws it to Barnes in time for the out.
Left fielder number 23, Tyler Dorsch.
So Hickman is thrown out at first, and now it'll be Tyler Dorsch. Hit by pitch in the first before striking out swinging in the second. Dorsch again hitting .460 coming into today's contest as Alderden drops that one. Hickman's just going to trot his way back into second. One 0 count now on Dorsch. As he takes ball 2. Groner at the 2-0. Down the middle for strike 1. Tyler Crater on deck for the Cougars. He's 1 for 2. And then in the hole if they reach him is Michael Kasich, who's 1 for 2 as well as Dorsch. This one off the glove of Lay. Hickman's going to round third, come across home safely. Dorsch, RBI single. And the Cougars, they pull within 1 now. That ball, a hard hit grounder to the Lay. Lay to dive for it. It hits just off the top of his glove. And then that Hickman steal looks a lot more important as he was able to score on it. Or if he was still on first, likely would only make his way to third. Crater swings at that first pitch. Dorsch on first with only 1 out. Cougars have scored in every inning so far. It has been the leadoff man, so that 4 for 4 for the leadoff hitters. Proven fruitful for the Cougars today. As now Crater sends that one foul towards the MSOE bullpen down the third baseline. And it's now 0-2 on the Cougars' third baseman. The 0-2, Crater swings and misses at a high one. His second straight strikeout, and now with 2 outs, that'll bring up Kasich.
First baseman number 10, Michael Kasich.
Kasich 1 for 2, hit into a fielder's choice in the first, and then a single in the third, where he would score a run on an RBI single from Joe Gonzalez. This one popped up foul. Oh, and 1 after the foul ball. Kasich swings at that one for 0-2 now. The 0-2. And this is going to be a single into right field. Dorsch was already taking off for second. He'll hit third. And Kasich, his second single in as many innings. And that'll put runners on the corner for Caleb Anderson. 1 for 1 today. Walked in the first and then a single in the third.
Hitter, number 25, Caleb Anderson.
Cougars haven't had a ton of really far hit balls today, but just enough to so far plate 4 runs, and now we're on the doorstep of tying this game up at 5 with Dorsch at third. 2 outs for Anderson. Is this one grounder bobbled by Overly? And reaching safely is Anderson, and crossing home, tying the game, is Tyler Dorsch. 5-5 here in River Forest.
Shortstop, number 29, Jaime Sandoval.
Isn't that the third base? Is that still an RBI? Anderson reaching on the air by Overlay. Coming home is Dorsch, and that's where we're at now. 5-5. Runners at first and second for Jaime Sandoval. who takes strike one, 1-1 count now. Overlay tried to backhand that one, and it just kind of popped out of his glove and went behind him. Really no play anywhere after that happened. Sandoval looking to keep the batters moving. Joe Gonzalez on deck as that one clips the strike zone just barely for strike number 2. Cougar fans not happy with that call. Sandoval now looking at a 2-2 count. Struck out once today. As he bloops this one to lay at second, who throws it over to Barnes for the ground out. But the Cougars, they get 2 here in the 4th, and we're going to head to the 5th inning. Brand new ball game, tied up 5-5. Tyler Dorsch with an RBI single, and then Cougars scoring off an error by Overly at third. So we'll be back on the Cougar Sports Network in just a minute here in River Forest.
Top of the order for the Raiders as we start the
5th inning here at CUC. And it's the top of the order for the Raiders, who, after leading the Cougars 5-2 at one point, now them find themselves in a tied ball game. As the first pitch of the inning misses for a ball. Now the 1-0 from McLaughlin. That one also misses, ball 2. Barnes 1 for 2 today, flew out to start the game off as McLaughlin finds himself in a 3-0 hole now. And Barnes hit a single in the 3rd inning. Would score a run on Kyle Lebez's grand slam. As a 4-pitch walk here to start the inning.
left fielder number 26, Blake Hall.
Looks like there is some movement down in the Cougars bullpen. At least one player starting to get himself stretched out. There's that one upstairs, swung at for a strike. McLaughlin currently at 94 pitches on the day now. That pitch Takes a deep drive into right field and over the fence. Blake Hall gets the Raiders' second home run of the day, and they take that lead right back. 2-run homer makes it 7-5.
Third baseman, number 28.
So in the first inning where the Raiders' leadoff hitter gets on, they make McLaughlin pay for it with Hall's home run to right field. And now it'll be Overlay. He takes a swing and miss at that one. Overlay's error last half inning was the reason the Cougars tied things up to begin with at 5. And now his left fielder makes that error moot with his 2-run homer. So Overlay now faces an 0-2 count. He's flown out to center in his 2 at-bats so far. As the next pitch swung on, fouled back. This one hit into center. Hickman has to come in. He's just going to play it off the bounce. And a single for Micah Overlay. And with no outs, the Raiders have had 3 men reach it safely so far. Barnes was walked. Hall home run. And now Overlay with the single. And it'll bring up Colin Truitt, who had an RBI triple in the first inning, first run of the day for either team. And then Truitt was hit by a pitch in the third. McLaughlin checks the runner at first, and diving back in safely is Overlay. Overlay's going to take off for second, throw too late. And it'll be a stolen base for the third baseman. Now it's going to force a mound visit and a pitching change as well. McLaughlin checks out. And coming in is Christian Jacob. So we're going to take a break here on the Cougar Sports Network as Jacob gets himself set on the mound. We'll be back in just a minute for the continuation of the 5th inning. Raiders up 7-5 on the Cougars. Pitching change here for the Cougars as Christian Jacob makes his way in. Wyatt McLaughlin's final stat line for the day: 4 innings pitched, 8 hits, 7 runs, all of which were earned, a walk and 4 strikeouts as Jacob now takes the mound. 2-0 count on Truitt as his first pitch of the day is in there for a strike. On the season, Jacob also listed as an infielder for the Cougars. A 9.53 ERA as this one's fouled off for strike 2. He's pitched 5 2/3 of an inning. 3 strikeouts in those 2 appearances he's made. As the 2-2 outside, full count now. So 3-2 from Jacob to Truitt. Outside, ball 4. So Jacob comes in, issues a walk to Truitt, though he was taking over a 2-1 count from McLaughlin. 2-0 count from McLaughlin. And it'll be Kyle Labez, who has done most of the Raiders' damage today with his grand slam in the 3rd inning. This one way outside. Let to jump over to grab that one. No outs on the inning still. Runners at first and second. As Labez pops this one up. Hickman under it. Makes the grab for out number 1. And now it'll be A.J. Lay, 0 for 2 on the day after a flyout and a strikeout swinging in the 2nd and 3rd inning, respectively. McLaughlin also left with 100 total pitches on the day. And we're going to have a pinch hitter here for the Raiders. Lay will take a seat on the bench, and instead it'll be number 21, Sam Meidenbauer.
Number 21, Sam Meidenbauer.
Meidenbauer taking over for Lay's spot here. First pitch swinging. Maynard going back, makes the grab. Overley's going to go back to second, tag up, go for third, throw behind him. So Overley makes his way to third successfully. As Meidenbauer flies out to right. So 2 outs now, runners on the corner for Nolan Wolszowski. On the MSOE roster, Meidenbauer, freshman, listed as an infielder, so good chance we'll see him stay in the game. As he took out Lay, who was at second. But right now, it's the center fielder, Wolszowski. 0 for 2 on the day, strikeout looking, and a fly out to center as Jacob checks first as well. McLaughlin was doing a lot of that today, and now Jacob picking up the trend. Jacob gets set on the mound. And he'll throw to first one more time at least, as back in safely is Truitt. First 4 batters have reached for MSOE this inning before 2 straight flyouts as Wojciechowski showed bunt really quick before pulling it back to take ball 1. Jacob checks the first base runner once again. No change there. As he now gets set for the 1-0 to Wojciechowski. The pitch fouled off for strike number 1. One and one now on the center fielder before Jacob checks second again. And now this will be a single into right field. Coming home is Overly. An RBI single from Wojciechowski. As Truitt makes his way to second. Now that'll change McLaughlin's final stat line as Overly was his runner as he's now on 8 runs, all of which were earned. And we'll have another pinch hitter here for MSOE. Coming in is number 31, Francis Ryan. So we'll see what the Raiders do at catcher after this half inning as Ryan's first pitch is fouled off. Ryan, 10 at-bats this season, still looking for his first hit. Has drawn a walk, however. This one right back up the middle. Jacob dodged out of the way of it, and now bumbling it in the center field is Hickman. And scoring safely is Truitt. Making his way to third is Wojciechowski. So another RBI single for the Raiders, this time from Francis Ryan. And the offense really waking up here in the 5th inning for MSOE as they're now up 9-5. So Truitt crosses home, gives Jacob an earned run. Ryan at first, Wojciechowski at third, and Kalatowski in the box. 1-0 count now. He's 1 for 2 on the day. Single last inning, which got thrown out after he tried to stretch it into a double, and then a strikeout swinging in the third. This one fouled off, 1-2 now. One of the silver linings for the Cougars, their offense has been producing consistently today as well. They scored in every inning. So now they have themselves a 4-run deficit to make up at the least as this one misses for ball 2. Jacob trying to keep the deficit at that number. And he's 1 strike away from doing it against Kalatowski as he checks first. Jacob came in, walked Truitt, The battery picked up from McLaughlin before getting 2 straight flyouts, and now he's let up 2 straight doubles. As the 2-2 in the dirt, taking off for second. Now we're going to get in a rundown with Ryan. Now the Cougars also looking at third base, and good base running there from MSOE. Cougars got Ryan in a run out. Wojciechowski tried to take off for home, so they checked him at third. He got back in safely. Meanwhile, Ryan makes his way to second. So stolen base for Francis Ryan, takes the force out at second base. Count 3-2 now on Kalatowski. The pitch swung on, bounced back to Jacob. He's going to run over, flip it to Kasich underhand for the final out of the inning, but damage is done by the Raiders. After the Cougars tied things up at 5, the Raiders come out here in the 5th inning, put up a 4 spot, and we're going to head to the bottom of the 5th now. Cougars trail the Raiders again, 9-5.
Changes for the Raiders, number 21.
Defense shaken up a little here for MSOE. Coming in for catcher is number 7, Robbie Erickson. And then meanwhile, the pinch hitter, Sam Meidenbauer, comes in, stays at second. And this Raiders team offense coming to life in that last inning, scoring 4 runs, take the 9-5 lead over CUC. And now Cougars have some work to do to come back. And it starts here with Joe Gonzalez, who fouls this one off. 1-2 count now on the freshman, who is 1 for 2 on the day. RBI single in the 3rd before grounding out in the 1st. Here's the 1-2 from Groner. In the dirt for ball 2. Now the 2-2 count on Gonzalez. Swing and a miss for strike 3. So Gonzalez strikes out, and that'll bring up Carter Gledhill. Gledhill had a leadoff double in the 2nd inning and then grounded out to end the 3rd. Speaking of leadoff, Gonzalez, the first leadoff batter to not reach for CUC, as Gledhill's first pitch fouled back. The 0-1 going to be another foul ball, so 0-2 now on Gledhill. That pitch just misses for ball 1, so Gledhill is still alive a little longer. This one way outside and in the dirt. Erickson getting all the way over for it. 2-2 count now on Gledhill. And that one clips the zone. Nice pitch there by Groner. Got Gledhill to lay off. And 2 batters up, 2 strikeouts now for the MSOE starter. And that'll bring up Eli Hickman. MSOE doesn't have anyone throwing in the bullpen just yet, as Hickman's first pitch is popped up center field. Wojciechowski backpedaling, makes the grab. So a quick 1-2-3 inning for the Cougars. Raiders maintain their 4-run lead over CUC as we head to the 6th inning, 9-5 in favor of MSOE. You're watching the Cougar Sports Network. Top of the order here for MSOE as we start the 6th inning. Christian Jacobs still on the mound for the Cougars as this first pitch hits the zone for strike 1. Now this one, grounder into right field. Maynard scoops it up, and hitting first base is Barnes, the first baseman for MSOE. And so second straight inning where Barnes has led off and gotten on safely. That'll bring up Blake Hall, having himself a nice day so far. 3 for 3, 2 singles and a home run last inning as a 2-run homer. Currently stands as the game-winning RBI when he drove Barnes in to make it 6-5, and then Hall's run himself made it 7-5. And so we would tack on another 2 runs later in the inning as this one gets away for Gledhill. Barnes takes off for second. Gledhill just holds on to it. So passed ball given to Gledhill. Barnes advances to second. And Hall currently with a 2-0 count now. Jacob checks Barnes at second before the pitch. This one, a deep drive into right field. It's also gone. Blake Hall, have yourself a day. 2 home runs. And MSOE extends their lead 11-5 now. Blake Hall Hit a home run last inning, did it again here, and that'll be it for Kristen Jacob on the mound. So with Jacob heading off, it'll be Tyler Pritchard coming onto the mound. So we'll have a little bit more about the incoming pitcher for CUC when we're back on the Cougar Sports Network in just a minute. Raiders up on the Cougars 11-5 here in the 6th inning. Back here in the 6th inning. New pitcher on the mound for the Cougars. It's the freshman Tyler Pritchard, rocking the team best ERA at 1.86. As he fires in the first pitch for ball 1. He's made 4 appearances on the year, 9 2/3 innings. As he's going to get a quick ground out here to Michael Kasich, who's just going to take it all the way in. So Micah Overlay grounds out, and now it'll be Colin Truitt coming up to the plate. Truitt 1 for 1 on the day. RBI triple in the first inning, hit by a pitch in the third, and then a walk in the 5th. He's also scored 2 runs off that hit by pitch and walk. He'd eventually cross home. Now he faces the 1-0. This will be a deep drive into right field. Maynard all the way back. And that is over the fence. Second home run in the last 3 batters for MSOE. And they continue to build this lead as it is now 12-5. Fourth home run on the day for MSOE. Lebez's grand slam. Hall has 2, and now Truitt adds his own. And with 1 out now, it'll be Kyle Lebez. 3 runs scored so far this inning. One popped up, right field. Maynard gets under it, brings it in for out number 2. And that'll bring up the 0 for 3. The 0 for 1 now. Meidenbauer, who pinch hit for A.J. Lay last inning. He pops this one up. It's going to stay in the infield. Joe Gonzalez tracking it down, makes the grab. So the fly out to second, it represents the final out of the inning, but MSOE tags another 3 runs onto their lead. They now lead the Cougars 12-5 as we are going to head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Cougars got some work to do here in River Forest. Gary Maynard to lead things off here. Cougars got their work cut out for them, down by 7 to the MSOE Raiders. As Maynard, looks at strike one. Look, take strike two there. Makes contact with that one into left field for a hit. Gary Maynard, hit number 3 on the day for the CUC leadoff hitter. And that'll bring up Tyler Dorsch. 1 for 1, single strikeout and a hit by pitch. And Dorsch, one of the best hitters, the best hitter for average on this team with his .460 average. He's going to take that one for a strike. Sitting at 500 on the day, 1 for 2. This pitch misses for ball 1. And the 1-1. Dorsch thought about it, laid off. 2-1 now. Maynard at first. He's scored a run today, way back in the first inning. And that one fired in for a strike, 2-2 count. And Maynard, he goes on it. Won't matter as Dorsch hits this one into right field. Maynard's going to stop at third. Cougars, they'll have him on the corners after the Dorsch single. Maynard already taking off for second. So now Groner, a sticky situation here. Runners at the corners, no outs with Tyler Crater in the box. 1 for 3 today with 2 strikeouts and then a single. He takes a swing at that first pitch for strike 1. No, this one hit, and nice grab there by Hall. Maynard tags up and scores anyways. So a sac fly from Tyler Crater gives the Cougars back a run. Drives Gary Maynard home. And now the runner on first, only 1 out. It is Michael Kasich in the box. Kasich, 2 for 3 today, hit into a fielder's choice in the first, and then got singles in the third and fourth. Scored a run in the third off of Joe Gonzalez RBI. And this one gets away from Erickson. He has trouble finding it. Dorsch is going to take second, and Groner comes all the way in to grab the ball. Erickson having trouble tracking where that ball bounced. So Dorsch advances to second on a passed ball. Groner's going to take a second to just get himself reset. They're staring down Dorsch at second. The pitch. High pop up into right field. Lebez coming over, makes a grab in foul territory. Dorsch tags up, and he'll head to third. So Kasich fouls out to right.
Designated hitter number 25, Caleb Anderson.
Two outs now for Caleb Anderson, the designated hitter. 1 for 2 today. He reached on a walk in the first, hit a single in the third, and then reached on an error in the fourth. He's got a good chance to drive home a run here with Dorsch on third. He's got to get a hit, though, as he does right here into right field. This one cut off by Lebez. Dorsch crosses home plate to throw into second too late, and an RBI double for Caleb Anderson. So the Cougars, they get at least 2 back this inning. It's 12-7, and now it's Jaime Sandoval at the plate. Strikeout, sack bunt, and then a ground out so far today. As he takes strike 1. And this will be into right field. Coming in to make the grab is Lebez to end the inning. But the Cougars, they do get 2 back off the RBI sack fly from Tyler Crater and the RBI double from Caleb Anderson. So we're going to head to the 7th inning now. 2/3 the way through the game. MSOE up on the Cougars 12-7 here in River Forest. Seventh inning here in River Forest. Raiders back on the offensive. But first, a reminder to all Cougar fans out there that you can check out our website, CUCougars.com, and find information about every sports team here at CUC, including CUC baseball. All you have to do is go to CUCougars.com, click on sports, and find any team that you would like. You can find info like stats, schedules, rosters, social medias, and more. Once again, that's our website, CUCougars.com. And meanwhile, back here in the Thunderdome, Cougars trailing the Raiders 12-7. Pritchard a 1-2 count on Wojciechowski, who hits 1-2. Gonzalez, who makes a nice reaching grab before throwing it to Kasich for the out. And that'll bring up number 7 now, the catcher, Robbie Erickson. Erickson in at catcher after Alderden started the day. He was pinch hit for Francis Ryan in the 5th inning before Erickson came in. Erickson, 500 hitter on the year. Only 2 at-bats, though, so 1 hit. He's played in 6 games so far this year. He's now 2-1 count. Make that 2-2 count against Pritchard. Erickson has struck out 0 times so far. As it could be his first one here. Instead, it's away for ball 3. So full count on the catcher Erickson for Tyler Pritchard, the freshman. Looking to impress. This one, fly ball into left field. Coming in to make the grab is Tyler Dorsch. 2 batters, 2 outs for Pritchard and the Cougars, and now it's John Kalatowski, the shortstop, to try and extend the inning. Kalatowski takes strike 1 there, 1 for 3 on the day, a single in the 3rd, and then a strikeout and ground out in his other 2 appearances. As he's going up against a quick working Pritchard. The only count is at 1-1. That first pitch was a ball. Accidentally called that one a strike, and now Kalatowski looking for a second hit on the day. This one away and in the dirt. Gledhill slides over to make the grab. No base runners to worry about, though. Now the 2-1. Roped into right center. Hickman's going to have to play it off the bounce, so Kalatowski keeps the inning alive with this 2-out single. And that'll bring up the leadoff hitter of the day for the Raiders, Chris Barnes, having himself a nice day after he flew out in the first inning to lead the game off. He reached successfully in his last 3 appearances, 2 singles as well as a walk. Now he's got a runner on and Kalatowski to work with. This one in there for a strike. Barnes also has 3 runs scored today. So every time he has reached base, he's come across home eventually. That pickoff attempt gets away from Kasich, so advancing to second is Kalatowski. So error given to Pritchard. Moves Kalatowski over to second. And now an RBI opportunity for Chris Barnes. That runner in scoring position. Pritchard gets set now. The 0-1 misses. 1-1. One popped up foul by Barnes. So 1-2 now. Chance for Pritchard to end the inning. No damage done from Kalatowski. And that one almost takes Barnes out. Inches away from his face. So he had to pull off some acrobatics to avoid that one. So the 2-2 to Barnes. Misses. Ball 3, and now it's a full count. Forgot to mention that. That was Kalatowski advancing to third on that wild pitch that almost took Barnes out. Now this one misses for ball 4. Barnes reaches on the walk. Runners in the corners now for probably the hottest hitter right now in Blake Hall. 2 straight home runs, an additional 2 singles, and they're just going to intentionally walk him. They're not even going to risk it. The way Hall's been seeing that baseball like it's a beach ball today. So bases loaded, 2 outs for Michael Overly, who's 1 for 3 today. A single in the 5th, 2 flyouts to center, and then he grounded out to Kasich in the 6th. He's got a chance to do some serious damage here with the bases loaded. This one hit deep into center field. Going back is Hickman, and over the wall, grand slam, Micah Overlay. Second grand slam of the day for the Raiders. They had another home run on the board. And that lead now is 18-7.
Designated hitter number 15, Colin Truitt.
Swing and a miss here from Truitt, who's having himself a nice day as well. Triple in the first, hit by pitch, a walk, and then a home run last inning. He takes a swing and a miss there. Strike 2 now. And that'll do it. So it is, that's strike 3. Misspoke there. And the Cougars, they end the inning with a strikeout from Pritchard, but 4 runs for the Raiders off the Micah Overlay grand slam. And we're going to head to the bottom of the 7th now. Cougars, they trail the Raiders by 11 here in River Forest. We'll be right back on the Cougar Sports Network. Couple of changes here for the Cougars in the batting order. Up to bat now instead of instead of Joe Gonzalez, it's Julio Cajigas.
Pitch hitting for the Cougars, number 21, Julio Cajigas.
Cajigas, 281 hitter on the year and 64 at bats. Takes ball number 1. Now pops this one up, going foul. Raiders are not going to have a play on it. So while Cajigas, the new batter in the box for the Cougars, the Raiders have a new pitcher on the mound. It is number 2, Luke Schwafnagel. Schwafnagel on the season, 1.80 ERA and just 5 innings pitched. The senior out of Heartland, Wisconsin. There's the 1-1 in there for a strike. So 1-2 now on Cajigas. And then, so leaving the game after 6 innings pitched is Groner. 6 earned runs on 107 total pitches. And Cajigas is going to go down swinging. And now that'll bring up another pinch hitter for the Cougars. It's number 9, Brandon Mahler. He's hitting for Carter Gledhill. Mahler also catcher, so likely we see him come in as the new Cougars catcher if we get to that point. Is that one outside for a ball? Mahler on the year, 35 at-bats, 12 hits, 341 batting average is the 1-0. Swung on and missed for strike 1. Brandon's twin brother Jake also on this Cougars team. This one upstairs for ball 2. So 2-1 on the freshman catcher for CUC as this pitch is outside, makes that 3-1 now. On deck as regularly scheduled is Hickman. After the 2 straight pinch hitters for CUC, looking to get some offense going here. Down by 11 as this one popped up. Lebez making the play on it for out number 2. And now it'll be Eli Hickman. Hickman on the day, 1 for 3, 2 flyouts, and then a single in the 4th inning. Cougars did a good job of getting a Groner at 13 total hits as Hickman's first pitch is fouled away. 7 runs, 6 of which were earned. However, as good as the Cougars' offense has been today, and really this weekend as a whole, the Raiders' offense has just been unstoppable since the 3rd inning. Now Hickman looked like he checked his swing, but it won't matter anyways as it still makes its way in there for strike number 2. And this one to Barnes, who flips it to the catcher for the out. And now Coach Connor having a conversation with Kevin Worth. So we're going to head to the 8th inning now. Cougars still trailing the Raiders by 11, 16-7 here in River Forest. You're watching the Cougar Sports Network.
number 8, Richie Sperando.
New pitcher on the mound for the Cougars. It's the junior transfer Dax Meyer, but before we get to him, we got to talk about Tyler Pritchard, done for the day after 2 innings, 3 hits given up, 5 runs, 4 of which were earned.
The right fielder, number 4, Kyle Lebez.
2 walks as well as a strikeout on 35 total pitches. And then that'll bring Dax Meyer onto the mound now. Meyer, again, a junior transfer out of Lombard, Illinois. Now taking on Lebez. Meyer, 8 1/3 innings pitched this year in 6 appearances, 6.48 ERA. Meanwhile, other defensive changes for the Cougars. Richie Sperando enters the game, takes over at second base, and then behind the plate now is Brendan Mahler. And Lebez stays alive, 2-2 now. Lebez 1 for 4 on the day, but that one hit was a home run. As here's a grounder now. Sperando off the bottom of his glove. Error to the freshman who just checked into the game.
Second baseman, number 21, Sam Meidenbauer.
So Lebez reaches on the air off Sperando, and that'll bring up Sam Meidenbauer, who's 0 for 2 after 2 flyouts. Lebez is going to take off. Mahler's throw off the path. It's into center, and it gets away from Hickman. So now into third, and going to go for home is Lebez. The throw to the plate, not in time. Kyle Lebez, some fancy base running there, gets a stolen base to second. We'll wait to see how they score the rest of this. And then an error on Eli Hickman drove him all the way home. So Lebez's base running, taking advantage of some opportunities. So Lebez reached on an error, advanced on a stolen base where Mahler overthrew the second baseman, and then got all the way home on the error from Hickman, as now it's a 1-2 count on Meidenbauer. And that'll be in there for strike number 3. Strikeout looking for Meidenbauer. Meyer gets the first out of the inning.
Center fielder, number 3, Nolan Wojciechowski.
And now it'll bring up Nolan Walshowski.
So it's just a stolen base and then error on Hickman?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay.
2-0 count now on Walshowski. 1 for 4 today. His only hit came in the 5th inning, a RBI single. As he now is looking at a 2-1 count. Robbie Erickson on deck for the Raiders as this one's outside. It was a 3-1 count, excuse me. So now it's a walk. With a runner at first, now 1 out. It is Robbie Erickson, 0 for 1 today since checking in the bottom of the 5th inning. His first hit came last inning where he flew out to left field, and now a couple of pickoff attempts by Meyer. First pitch to Erickson is misses for a ball. One and 0 count on Erickson. Swing and a miss there. Then a 1-1 count now. On deck is Kalatowski. Meyer checks the runner at first one more time. Two and one count now on Erickson. This one popped up. Sperando goes out, makes the grab. And now with 2 outs, that brings up the number 9 hitter, Kalatowski. Kalatowski, two for 4 on the day with 2 singles. That 4th inning, a single. He tried to stretch it into a double where he was thrown out, so he didn't get to stay on the base paths. This one out in there for a strike. Yeah. 0-1 count on Kalatowski after another pickoff attempt there by Dax Meyer. The pitch outside for ball 1. That pitch also misses. Count 2-1 now. This one fouled off, so that evens up the count at 2-2. Now this one bounces away from Mahler, so advancing to third will be Wojciechowski. Be called a passed ball on Mahler. Kalatowski trying to get his second hit in as many innings. And they're going to call a balk on Meyer. Mike Slawinski right behind Meyer on the mound. Makes the call, so that advances Wojciechowski to third. Now this pitch will be It'll be a walk on Kalatowski.
First baseman number 8, Chris Barnes.
And that'll bring up the leadoff hitter on the day with Chris Barnes. Barnes looks at strike number 1. Barnes has reached base successfully in his last 4 trips to the plate, 2 walks and 2 singles as Meyer checks first. A pickoff attempt there by Meyer. (17-7) here in River Forest. Raiders on top of the Cougars as Meyer throws strike number 2 in there. Raiders playing in their first conference game this year. Meanwhile, the Cougars opened up conference play with a doubleheader sweep over St. Norbert yesterday. That pitch misses for ball 1. And that'll be ball 2, so evened up here. Again, already 2 walks on the day for Barnes. The 5th and 7th inning. He's had a plate appearance in 4 straight innings now, which just shows how much turnover there's been in the MSOE lineup. As this one is popped up into left field, Tyler Dorsch comes in and makes the grab for the final out. But the Raiders, they strike again. A run scored by some nifty base running from Kyle Labez. And the Cougars, they trail by 10 now. As we're going to head to the bottom of the 8th. Cougars running out of time here. They got to get something going on offense. Raiders up 17-7 here in River Forest. You're watching the Cougar Sports Network.
Top of the order for the Cougars in the 8th inning.
Coming up for his 5th at-bat of the day is Gary Maynard. So far on the day, 3 for 4. 2 singles, a double, and then a ground out. And he's still facing off against Schwaffnagel. And then swing and a miss there. Count evened up at 1-1. And this one chopped foul, so Maynard stays in it. 1-2 count now. One, two, three inning, last inning, and Schwaffnagel's first of the game as this one is outside. 2-2 count now. Tyler Dorsch and Tyler Crater both due up to bat this inning for sure. As this ball popped up, and it is gonna stay in foul territory. That Barnes can make a play on it. And now it'll be Tyler Dorsch. Dorsch in the game. 2 for 3 with a hit by pitch. Both of those 2 hits were singles. As he smacks this one into left field, taking a ride into deep left and over the wall. Tyler Dorsch. Home run, Cougars. Dorsch gets his first home run of the year. Gets one back on the board for CUC. And the Cougars now trail by 9, 17-8. First home run of the day for the Cougars as Crater fouls that one back on the first pitch. As Schwaffnagel gets set to try and recollect himself after Dorsch's home run as Crater fouls that one all the way back and out of play. 1-2 count now on the third baseman. Single, 2 strikeouts, and then a sac fly turned RBI for Crater today. As Crater, this one popped up right to the second baseman in Kalatowski. So with 2 outs, Michael Kasich up. 2 hits today, as well as a hit into a fielder's choice and then a fly out as he fouls this one back. The 0-1 in the dirt for ball 1. Now the 1-1 just misses inside. 2-1 now on CUC first baseman. And this will be a bouncer. Nice grab there by Kalatowski, but no play at first as he had to really sell out to keep that one in the infield. So single for Kasich keeps the inning moving now for Caleb Anderson. Anderson 2 for 3 today with a walk as well as he lines that one to lay at, Meidenbauer at second. And that'll do it for the bottom of the 8th. So Cougars leave one on base, but Tyler Dorsch sends one over the left field wall for a home run. Gets one back. Cougars still trailing by now 9 though, 17-8 here going into the 9th inning. You're watching the Cougar Sports Network. Final inning here in River Forest, barring any extra inning action, and Dax Meyer gets it started with a strike to Blake Hall. Blake Hall reached base every at-bat so far today. 2 singles, 2 home runs, as well as an intentional walk in his last appearance. And now the Cougars decide to pitch to him. Nobody on, no outs to start. There's the 1-1 for Meyer. Outside 2-1 now. Overlay on deck for the Raiders. Is the next pitch. Hall fouls off. Hall, just a junior from West Bend, Wisconsin. Already off to a hot start here. And Dax Meyer's going to sit Hall down. And now it'll be Micah Overlay. Overlay's first pitch grand slam in his last at bat in the 7th has flown out twice and hit a single and then grounded out to Michael Kasich as well as he fouls that one off for 1-1. Colin Truitt will also get an at bat this inning at least with Kyle Bez in the hole. This one popped up, foul. 1-2 count now as Dax Meyer going to go for his second straight strikeout. Coming in today, Meyer with 6 strikeouts. Now added a couple more to his total today with the one last inning and then one just a batter going Hall. 2-2 count now on Overlay. That one up and away. So full count now for the third baseman of MSOE. And the pitch from Meyer. Outside, ball 4.
Designated hitter number 15, Colin Truitt.
So Colin Truitt also having himself a successful day. A triple, a home run, hit by pitch, a walk, and then his last at-bat in seventh ended in a strikeout. As he takes that pitch for a ball. Outside for ball number 2 now. Three and 0 now for Truitt. Runner on first in overlay. And here's the 3-0. Holding off of it. Truitt, nice eyes. He takes ball 4, advances the runner to second. And now with runners at first and second, only one out. It is Kyle Labez. He hit a home run, a grand slam in the third inning. Hasn't registered a hit other than that. Did reach on an error in the 8th. As he sends this one foul past the MSOE dugout. That pitch finds its way in there for a strike. 0-2 count now on MSOE's right fielder. This one dropped by Mahler. Able to keep it in front of him though, so 2-1. And looking for the strikeout is Meyer. He's going to have to wait a bit more as he throws a ball. And now ball 3 on Labez. 3 straight balls for Meyer. The 3-2 swung on and missed. Strike 3. 2 strikeouts this inning for Meyer. And now with 2 outs, 2 runners on, it is Sam Meidenbauer. Meidenbauer still looking for his first hit after pinch hitting for A.J. Lay back in the 5th inning. Since then, he's flown out twice as well as struck out looking. As he pops up the first pitch, just past the infield. Sperano calls everyone else off of it, makes the grab for the out. And that'll do it for the top of the 9th. Cougars escape without any damage. Good inning from Dax Meyer. And now it's do or die time for the Cougars. You need an offensive outburst in the bottom of this 9th inning, down 17-8. I'm back in just a minute on the Cougar Sports Network to see if the Cougars can do anything about it here in River Forest. Bottom of the ninth here for the Cougars. Need to put up a 9 spot to at least force extras. Before we get to that, I want to say thanks to everyone making today's Cougar Sports Network presentation possible. Katie Schrems and Emily Balaban working production as Jaime Sandoval pops up on the first pitch. Coming all the way in is the right fielder Lebez to make the grab. So out number 1 here in the bottom of the ninth. Then working cameras are Maya Martin and Janie Turnus. Floating around taking photographs is Saba Miller. And then we're under the direction of Sydney Plaskas-Lahar and Kayla McLeod. And now pinch hitter here for the Cougars in the 7th spot. And it is number 15, Nick Rensberger, who now looks at ball 1. Rensberger, 200 hitter on the year. He now is facing a 2-1 count. Just hit 3 o'clock on the afternoon. Is when game 2 was scheduled to start, so a little bit of delay getting that one going here. Three and one on Rensberger. The pitch fouled back. 2-1, excuse me. So 2-2 now. Oh, now there is some confusion about if it's 3 or 2 or 2-2. Scoreboard says one thing. Stats say another.
3-2.
And now pop up here. Stays in the infield. And Kalatowski tracks it down for out number 2. And representing the final out for the Cougars, Brendan Mahler flew out to right in his first at-bat back in the 7th after pinch hitting for Carter Gledhill. He looks at strike 1 from Schwaffnagel. That one in the dirt. So 1-1 count now. 1-1. In there for strike 2. Now Cougars down to their final strike on the day. And Mahler keeps the Cougars alive a little longer. A single into center field. Nice piece of hitting there by the freshman. And I'll bring up Eli Hickman now. The center fielder, 1 for 4 today, 2 flyouts, a ground out, and then a single that came in the 4th inning. Stole a base and then scored a run as well. As he bloops this one to the second baseman, Meidenbauer, and that'll do it for game 1 here in River Forest. MSOE comes in, puts 17 up on the board. Cougars offense good as well, scoring 8. Pitching was not enough, though, to cool down a hot Raiders lineup. As we'll look at a final box score for today's first game. We get set to get ready for game number 2. So your final score for the day, 17-8 from MSOE. Final score for this first game should say. Some of the offensive leaders for the Cougars, Tyler Dorsch, 2 RBIs, as well as his first home run on the season. Tyler Crater had 2 RBIs as well. RBIs also belong to Caleb Anderson, Jose Gonzalez, and Gary Maynard. Maynard went 3 for 5. Dorsch went 3 for 4, and Kasich 3 for 5. Anderson 2 for 4. Some good hitting days. Meanwhile, losing pitcher on the day, Wyatt McLaughlin. 4 innings pitched, 8 runs allowed, all of which were earned in 100 total pitches. So McLaughlin will leave the day with his 3rd loss on the year, now 1-2 record-wise. Meanwhile, for the Raiders, some of the offensive leaders, Blake Hall, 4 RBIs, including 2 home runs, 4 for 5 on the day. Micah Overlay, 2 for 5 on the day, had himself a grand slam for 4 RBIs. Colin Truitt, a home run and a triple, grabbed himself a pair of RBIs. And then Kyle Lebez, a grand slam for 4 RBIs. Nolan, Wojciechowski had an RBI, as did Francis Ryan. And then winning pitcher on the day for MSOE is Tyler Groner. 13 hits allowed in 6 innings pitched, 7 runs, 6 of which were earned. Also grabbed himself 6 strikeouts in 107 total pitches. So that'll do it for Game 1 here in River Forest. Raiders take it 17-8 over the Cougars. Raiders improve to 9-2, 1-0 in conference. Cougars fall to 9-8, 2-1 in conference. But don't go anywhere. Game 2 will start momentarily here on the Cougar Sports Network. So stick around as we get ready for Game 2 action between the Cougars and the Raiders.